Hey, what's up everyone? It's Hedgehog here, and today we'll be talking about all of the upcoming official characters and executioners in Outcome Memories. Now, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. We are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. Once we reach the said goal, I will be doing a giveaway. So to start things off, let's start with the first upcoming survivor, and that is Fang the Sniper. Now, Fang the Sniper is, of course, an official Sonic character whose debut did happen in Sonic Triple Trouble. Now, of course, Fang is a notorious criminal bounty hunter, and he is a leader of the gang named the Hooligans, which also includes his close buddies Bean the Dynamite and Bark the Polar Bear. Now, of course, Fang is a fan-loved character, and Fang's gameplay is completely unknown as of right now, but of course it's easy to assume that he will be using his two guns and his hunting skills to stun and catch the executioner off guard. Which, of course, the one big personality trait of Fang is that, of course, he's a bounty hunter. He's basically mischievous, fearless, but he's basically kind of a coward also, who often flees usually quite a bit of the time. So it is going to be pretty interesting to see. Based on my assumption, we could be seeing something related to him possibly having a move where he could basically flee away, and also most likely a Deadeye style move where he can mark the executioner before shooting. Now, next up is the ultimate life form, Shadow the Hedgehog. And of course, him being the ultimate life form, I don't even need to explain him for you guys, but his moveset has been basically completely leaked, where he has his first move, which is going to be with the button E, Gun. Now, the description of the move Gun is that he will not have a cooldown because it will be a one-time use move, which it will have a 4-second reload and a 0.3 seconds aim. Upon usage, it will allow Shadow to pull out a handgun. This temporarily deactivates the other abilities and replaces them with the two functions, which is, first of all, aim. Shadow will enter an aiming stance, allowing him to shoot bullets at the executioner, each pushing them back, and the executioner gets stunned when the bar next to them is fully filled up. Once the magazine runs out of bullets, it lacks the ability to shoot. While exiting aiming, there's a short moment indicated by a red flash where if the executioner attacks you, you will parry/cancel their attack. This can be done at any time. And the second move would be reload. Shadow will reload his gun upon usage. He is only able to use this after the magazine is empty and can only reload up to 3 times before running out of magazines. Once the gun fully runs out of ammunition, the ability will automatically disable and is replaced with Chaos Snap. Note that this is a permanent for the rest of the round. Now on to the next ability, which replaces gun, that is Chaos Snap. Yet again, the same command E, which has a cooldown of 20 seconds. Now the description is, note, the ability was not demonstrated or explained well. This description may not be fully accurate. So once Shadow runs out of ammunition for his gun and the ability deactivates, he unlocks Chaos Snap, which completely replaces the gun upon usage. He will place a warp point to the spot where the cursor is pointing in a -30 stud radius. He will then teleport to that spot, and if an executioner is in range, he will kick them from behind and stun them for 4 seconds. It also seems like Shadow can escape 2011's charge ability with Chaos Snap. Now the next ability is Dash Boost, which the command is Q and has a cooldown for 15 seconds. Now the description is, upon usage, Shadow boosts upwards and forward in a direction the camera is facing for a few seconds. It does not have a startup nor delay, and it can be used mid-air, simultaneously being able to be used on the floor. Note that unlike Chaos Snap, however, he can use it prior to equipping his gun. Using this seems to cancel out the flight of 2011's charge if colliding, and possibly knocks the executioner back like Cream's dash. Now the description for the strategy of Shadow is, Shadow should stay close to his fellow survivors for protection, as he is rather vulnerable given his lack of proper stuns until his gun completely runs out of ammo. However, once it does, he is capable of staying in a mouse chases similar to characters like Sonic. It is recommended he uses Chaos Snap to catch the executioners off guard. Now that's about everything we know about the ultimate life form, so now let's go to the next character, Mighty the Armadillo. Now Mighty's first appearance was in Sega Sonic the Hedgehog. He's a very popular character upon the community of Sonic, and his personality is that he's a friendly, welcoming person, and he's basically really chill, and he's best pals with Ray. Now a good fun fact is that Mighty's model in Outcome Memories is very similar to how his model is in Knuckles Chaotix. Now we haven't got much on Mighty's moveset for the game, how he will play, but Mighty has been described to be the physically strongest survivor in the game. It's not exactly clear what this means, but it likely alludes to a highly reliable offense or defense playstyle similar to Knuckles. Now based on my assumption, I could assume that Mighty could have a move where he will rip out a rock from the floor and possibly use it as a projectile to stun executioners. Now the next character is Mighty's best friend, Ray the Flying Squirrel. Now it has been brought to my attention that according to Sobi, Mighty and Ray will be getting a remodel. Now Ray is a friendly, eager, and energetic person, and of course he's best pals with Ray. Now when it comes to Ray's moveset, there's not much that we know on how Ray will play, but he is planned to be a support character and will be able to glide while helping others, similar to Tails in a way. Now the next character is the world famous treasure hunter, Rouge the Bat, who made her first appearance in one of the best games of all time, Sonic Adventure 2. Now Rouge is a fearless, ambitious, and flirtatious treasure hunter who is motivated by a love of jewels and riches. And she is very calculating and self-serving, and she does have a big part in a lot of the storylines in the Sonic games. Now Rouge's gameplay is completely unknown as of this moment, but it's more than likely her moveset will revolve around survival through stealth tactics or providing recon to the team. What is known is that she will have mobility in the form of a grappling hook, and her grappling hook move is by the button Q. So Rouge begins turning based on the location of your mouse on the screen. After clicking or tapping, she will fire out a grappling hook at the location of your mouse, locking onto whatever surface it lands on and allowing her to pull herself towards the grapple via clicking again. Note she can cancel this via pressing Q. Whether or not this does anything if it hits an executioner is unknown. Note that this hook does in fact follow gravity. This ability originally belonged to Metal Sonic. Now the next upcoming survivor is E123 Omega, short for Omega if you just want to say, and Omega's original debut was in one of the best Sonic games of all time as well, Sonic Heroes. Now Omega's real goal is to destroy Dr. Eggman for having cast him aside, wanting to prove himself as the strongest robot to ever live. Now Omega's movesets are this. First of all, you have Undefeatable, which the keybind is passive. So Omega, being the wide character he is, has one of the biggest hitboxes in the game. He'll also have the highest hit priority. In compensation, he'll have 50 to 60% damage reduction. Now really the next of the abilities are all passive on keybinds, they're all not final of course. So the next ability is Unbreakable Resolve. When Omega is within the killer's radius, he'll receive automatic healing. This is capped at 175 HP. He can't heal any higher. The speed of his heals are 1 healed per second. The next ability is Waterproof. Omega is immune to drowning underwater, but he won't have the ability to heal, even within the killer's radius. The next ability is Recovery Mode. If Omega dies, he'll fall to his knees, saying a killer-specific quote. After 0.5 seconds, he'll glow red and then have a big explosion stunning the executioner for 7 seconds. This means Omega cannot be drowned, effectively giving him only one chance in a round, exactly like Metal Sonic. Now the next ability is Hook, which has a cooldown for 25 to 40 seconds possibly. Omega wields a hook allowing him to hook ally survivors or the killer. It takes 0.5 seconds to channel the hook to launch it. In LMS, it's instant. And missing it will take the hook 25 seconds to return. Now for a survivor, Omega is able to safely grip allies away from danger, or into it for combos, ally survivors are able to jump out of the launcher similar to Sonic's peel-out. Landing the hook on a survivor will take 40 seconds for the hook to return. Now if you hook a killer, Omega hooks the killer towards him, silencing them to not be able to do anything, exactly like Metal Sonic's grapple in Sonic.EYX The Disaster. Landing the hook on a killer will take 25 seconds for the hook to return. Now the next ability is Bullet Rain / Jetpack, which has a cooldown of 28 seconds if landed. So Omega will do a 1.5 second build up where he switches his claws to machine guns. He'll shoot in a cone shape, shooting several bullets repeatedly, building up a stun bar. This ability should be similar to Shadow's gun bar and only meant to be used close range. It'll be 4 seconds of pure bullet mayhem. You'll need 2 seconds worth to stun the killer. And Jetpack, if Omega jumps in the air when using the ability, he'll shoot downwards instead. He'll receive a boost upwards, allowing slight movement in any direction except downwards. The ability is also able to build up the stun bar against the killer. It'll be 4 seconds of movement, only 2 seconds worth of hitting the killer is needed. Now the last and final move for Omega is Beatdown. The cooldown is 25 seconds if landed, 20 seconds if missed. Omega dashes forward after a 1.5 second build-up. Afterwards he does a basically about 5 second animation beatdown, leaving the executioner stunned for around 2 seconds. After using this ability, every other abilities is on a 5.5 second cooldown if landed. If you miss the ability, you get slowed down drastically. Now the next character is Vector the Crocodile, who was first seen in Knuckles'.EYX. Now Vector has a strong sense of companionship and the strength and kindness to overcome any difficulty that comes his way. Now the only 2 abilities we know of Vector is he will have a mouse click move which is called Furious Punch, which is a placeholder name. So Vector slaps the executioner, stunning them for 1 second. Vector can stun the executioner infinitely because of his tiny cooldown. This passive is reused from Neo Metal Sonic's Furious Punch passive. And the next ability is Bound Ring, which is a placeholder name, and the cooldown is unknown. So Vector enters a stance. He can throw his Bound Ring and grapple to wherever he throws it. He is able to hold his stance as well as while moving. He can cancel the ability during the stance, most likely by pressing the same key. Any player that touches the ring, regardless of their team, will be pulled in Vector's direction. Now the next survivor is Espio the Chameleon, who also made his debut in Knuckles'.EYX. So Espio is basically a private detective with a strong sense of justice and skills in both gathering information and combat. While he enjoys camping, it can be assumed that like Sonic and his friends, he also appreciates the nature of the world and wants to protect it from the works of Eggman. So the gameplay of Espio, while it is unknown how he will play, it can be assumed that his abilities will be based on his appearance in Knuckles'.EYX and Sonic the Fighters, which could mean he'll have his axle spin and the ability to run up walls for a short period of time, or the ability to stun executioners with his tongue, though the latter is unlikely due to how his model lacks a mouth. Now there are many other survivors that are coming soon, like Honey the Cat, Sally, Charmy Bee, Big the Cat, Whisper the Wolf. But now let's get on to the executioners. Now I will only be talking about the executioners that are confirmed to come, or they will have a chance to come, because there are a lot of executioners that basically got cancelled. So to start things off, we have the first executioner, which is possibly everybody's favorite so far I've been seeing based on the comments, Fleetway's Supersonic. Now Fleetway's first appearance was in Sonic the Comic issue 7. Now through the source material, in canon Fleetway Supersonic is conveyed as an unleashed extremity of the emotional power rush Sonic experiences while in super form. But of course, now in the .exe universe, they changed it up, they made him like an executioner, like more evil you could say, which he does go to the dark path, but here in the .exe verse, they really pushed it on, right? Now his gameplay has been shown, many people have played Fleetway Supersonic, but I will be explaining his current moveset. So first of all, he has a health bar. Fleetway Supersonic is one of the 2 executioners that have a health bar. He has 355 health points, and the only way to damage him is through stunning. Stun deals damage to Fleetway, and if he loses all his health points, he gets chained pulled out through a portal, forcing an early end to the round. Survivors are going to be able to see Fleetway's health bar and icons similar to other survivors. So his next ability is Flight, which is by jumping. So when pressing spacebar in the air, Fleetway is able to levitate and fly around as he pleases, controlled by the user's camera. This ability also lets him use other abilities, making it a good tool for killing survivors. His flight duration is temporary, and the bar next to him appears with the number display sitting at 150 to show how long it lasts. The flight bar drains automatically upon being used. Sprinting during that state will drain it much quicker, while attacking will remove 15 points to his flight meter. So the next ability is Attack, which is mouse click, and it has a cooldown of 1 second, which is still not finalized. So Fleetway Supersonic lunges out his hands, dealing 35 damage. He is able to land a quote-unquote critical hit, in which he flashes yellow upon activation, dealing 44 damage. The next ability is Laser of Destruction. The keybind is Q, the cooldown is 24 seconds, which is not finalized. So Fleetway Supersonic instantly fires out a large laser out of his face/eyes, dealing around 20 to 25 damage possibly per second on contact, and giving the burning status effect to anyone that got hit by the laser, draining their health over time. This move lasts for around 3.5 to 4 seconds, but can be cancelled early. Note, Fleetway Supersonic can be stunned during this, however he can't be stunned during the windup. This move will receive a rework before release. So the next move is Chaos Dash, which is the keybind of E, which has a cooldown of 24 seconds, which is not finalized. So Fleetway highlights every survivor with an indicator, and then begins a spin dash regardless if he's flying or not, buffing his speed by a large amount. Should he slam into a survivor, he will rev up his spin dash more and deal around 15 damage to them, though this momentarily cancels the movement of his spin dash. He can do this around 2-3 times before it ends entirely. The next ability is Fateful Drain, which has the keybind of X and has a cooldown of 0.3 seconds in the first 3 uses, which is not finalized. 30 seconds is a successful hit/miss all 3 uses, and is currently not finalized. So Fleetway Supersonic lunges forward a large distance in the direction of the user's mouse/camera with a decently large hitbox. If he misses, he can try again 2 more times before sending the move on cooldown. Should he land this attack, he will grab the victim and drain 30 or 40 of the victim's HP and 16 HP back to himself, sending the move on a 30-second cooldown. Fleetway Supersonic cannot be stunned for the duration of this ability, and the last and final possible ability for Fleetway Supersonic is Burst, which has the keybind of Z and has cooldown of 24 seconds on normal use, which is not finalized, and 40 seconds used as stun recovery, which is not finalized. So Fleetway freezes in place while floating before charging up an energy ball for a few seconds, then releasing a massive explosion, dealing a moderate amount of damage and applying to anyone nearby while also passively damaging himself 28 damage across 6 seconds. Like Chaos Dash, this ability seems to also highlight all survivors. Uniquely, Fleetway can use this move while stunned to recover from the stun immediately. This will send it on a longer 40-second cooldown, however. This move will receive a rework before release. Now the next executioner is Lord X, which is 2011 X from the future. So we do know how he is a stone cold killer. So his first ability is Attack, which is by clicking the mouse, which Lord X swipes with his fist, doing 32 damage. His next ability is Charge, which has a cooldown of 19 seconds. So Lord X stands still, straining one hand in anger and flashing red 6 times for 1.5 seconds. Afterwards, he will charge at increased speeds with omnidirectional movement. If he hits a survivor, he will deal 45 damage, apply dazed, only brighter and more binding, very similar to how 2011 X has his move. So the next ability is God's Mockery, which has a cooldown of 14 seconds. So Lord.EYX seems to glitch and teleports to a survivor. He also seems to damage the survivor by this, dealing 12 damage and tripping them up / ragdolling them, but the means to avoid it are unknown. This is similar to 2011X's God Trickery move. A sound cue is played when this happens. After teleporting, he gains a slight end lag. Now the next ability is a placeholder named Big James, which the keybind of course unknown and the cooldown is unknown. So upon using, a hand comes out of Lord.EYX's mouth and the player can control it and hit someone. Hitting someone will cause them to be stunned and locked and take 10 damage every tick. This goes on until the survivor is at 10 HP. Stunning the .exe will cause them to stop. And the last but not least ability for Lord.EYX is Lazy Indicator. Indicates all living survivors on the map, identical to Steve outcomes. So the next executioner is More Innocence, who is an extremely tall, oversaturated and monstrous version of Sonic. And he's mostly vague. His main intention is not of physical harm, but rather destroying you mentally and stripping away any innocence you ever had. Now his first ability, I cannot pronounce the name, but basically More Innocence will appear visually as a humanoid shadowy figure to the survivor that slowly fades in more and more. The closer they are to the survivor's line of sight, when within a certain range of the survivor's POV, More Innocence will exit his shadowy appearance and reveal himself to the survivor. And every survivor will have their own panic meter. This meter fills up when survivors are near More Innocence close radius. As it fills up, their vision will become more and more foggy and things will start to distort. When their panic reaches halfway to its max, survivors will hear auditory hallucinations such as footsteps, sound effects of children crying, etc. The meter will stop at 99% until More Innocence causes the survivor's next spike of panic, activating the full effects of More Innocence ability when in full panic. And long story short, this will allow the ability to inflict the damage. So that's basically what the panic meter will be doing. You could see this is basically the description of the panic meter, and it will be a big problem for the survivors. So the next ability is Virokinesis. So when activating this ability, More Innocence will snap his fingers, causing a large echolating wave around the whole area's worth of ground. If survivors are within proximity of the snap's echo, their aura will be revealed to More Innocence and their panic will have a spike increase depending on how close or far they are from the eye of the snap. This also applies to the aura reading. The aura reading will be more faded out the farther the survivor is from the snap center if a survivor is below 100% on their panic meter, but it's close enough to becoming 100%. Now these are really in depth, so I'll just go with the next ability, Manifest Lifebox / Lifebox Teleport. So from the killer's side, the ability will appear as placed life boxes with the number 4 as the icon. Upon activation, More Innocence will stand in place and temporarily fizzle out into static while in place. You will then exit out of him, leaving him behind as a separate entity while you become invisible and can move / jump around at high speeds. You could click the ability button again when first starting it and place life box based on where your invisible self is currently standing / looking. Once all 4 life boxes are placed, you'll be kicked out of the invisible state and return back to where you last left More Innocence and can take control of him for the rest of the game. Now on the survivor side, on the life box screens, they will flip between 2 images and randomize rhythm. Flipping over and over in a constant loop, survivors can jump on these boxes to attempt to disable them, but they are on different outcomes to doing so depending on what icon is on the screen when the survivor lands their jump. If the screen has a Sonic icon on it, the TV will be disabled for a short period of time, but soon repair itself if the TV has a skull on it. The TV will not break and instead alert More Innocence, highlighting itself in red and letting him know of your presence. After a while of the alarm going off, the TV will then break, meaning there's a short opening for More Innocence to teleport through it. Before that happens, if the survivor is at 50% or higher, they will gain a noise notification whenever More Innocence teleports through a life box. This reflects the heightened senses of someone under constant paranoia. And the next ability is Luring Telekinesis. Long story short, No More Innocence will begin motioning his hands, gesturing towards himself, and start attempting to lure the survivor to him. During this animation, a visual echo will appear in front of No More Innocence in a straight line like a projectile/laser. During this, No More Innocence must aim a line towards the survivor and fully lure them in. A telekinetic ray has a long distance potential, allowing him to potentially drag any flyers out of the sky and right towards him. No More Innocence will lose the ability to sprint during telekinetic ray's use, but he can still walk freely. And the last ability is Shapeshifting, which has a keybind of Z and a cooldown of 8.9 seconds. No More Innocence will turn into any random survivor that's currently within the match and take on their appearance for as long as needed. When in this form, No More Innocence does not have a terror radius, making him completely stealthy during its use. He also has a constant speed boost when in disguise, making him run 0.5 faster than the survivors. No More Innocence can't attack while in this form. If he were able to attempt the attack input, he will immediately break out of his disguise. However, he can manually exit the disguise by clicking the disguise ability again, while active. Once No More Innocence exits this form, he gets a decent speed boost for 2.5 seconds, and all the abilities go on cooldown for 2.5 seconds. So the last executioner we will be talking about for today is Sonic.EYX. And Sonic.EYX is pretty popular throughout the current day, and he is basically a tall, deformed, lankier version of Sonic, and basically he is in his infant state, is a curious, harmless being. Although he becomes extremely feral and dangerous when hungry, once growing slightly older, he turns into a crazed beast, killing anything that moves. So for the first ability, he has Frenzy and Haste, which is basically two passives. Frenzy, during every chase, if said chase is taking too long, maybe around 15 seconds or so, EYX's heart will start bumping faster and faster, and his eye will start glowing red along with the veins on his chest, quickly glowing in sync with his eye. This will give him increased speed and slight decrease of strength, resulting in him moving and attacking way faster, but with the drawback of not dealing as much damage as before. Now Haste is if there are no survivors near a certain amount of studs, X will start running on all fours, making him reach speeds similar to Sonic's peel out. This running mechanic will only happen twice per match, once at the start and once during the LMS. Whenever there is a survivor near, EYX will hear their heartbeats. This will help him locate the positions of the survivors. This will be permanent. EYX will have no terror radius. And the next ability is Slash, which is of course on mouse click, where EYX will slash forward, dealing 30 damage, 15 on Frenzy. The next ability is Overleap, which has a cooldown of 13 seconds. By clicking and holding on this skill meter will appear at the bottom of the screen while charging up. By having it fully charged, EYX will do a massive jump, and if you manage to be near a wall after you're in the air, you could press the skill again and dash toward the direction your mouse is pointing at. This move is purely focused on vertical mobility. This will not do any kind of damage. And the next ability is Slam Dunk, which has a cooldown of 34 seconds if landed and 22 if missed. So EYX will quickly extend one arm and try to catch a survivor. If done successfully, EYX will hold the survivor and then jump extremely high to brutally slam the survivor's head onto the ground, dealing 45 damage upon impact. If EYX misses the attack, there will be an end lag for 4 seconds, with the animation of him adjusting himself and cracking his head. He will be immune to stuns during this animation. The next ability is Screech. Cooldown is 25 seconds, so EYX will slam the ground and look up while doing a loud, unpleasant scream. Any survivors hit won't take any damage, but the game will make their camera forcefully pointed towards EYX for 12 seconds. During Frenzy Boost, while using his scream, anyone hit will take 10 damage and be deaf for 5 seconds. This can also affect nearby survivors, which will make them deaf for 1.5 seconds. And the last ability is Infection, which has a cooldown of 15 seconds. Once Frenzy ends, a number will add and stack on top of the skill. Upon using it, EYX will puke out a black symbiotic as a projectile. And if this thing hits a player, it will latch itself to them, slowing them down and making them jump lower. The symbiotic deals damage upon impact. The survivor will have two options to get rid of the symbiotic. A, wait for it to disintegrate, but this will take a bit of time. Or B, using an attack skill which will automatically get rid of it. During Frenzy Boost, instead of using the projectile, EYX will do a leap while screaming, and if it connects, he will do a feral bite on the survivor for 3 seconds and set them free, dealing 25 damage. So yeah guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. I explained every upcoming official survivor and executioner for outcome memories. Of course, I didn't get to every single one yet. Some are in very early stages, some are scrapped, some are pretty unknown, but I mainly spoke about the ones that people know about. I have spoken about Furnace and Starved earlier in my last video, you could go check that out. So please everyone, like, share, subscribe, and comment to join the giveaway. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, that's my goal. And this was my longest video. I hope you guys could support, and I'd really appreciate if you guys could like, share, subscribe. And until next time guys, see y'all.